Hi, I'm Misha. This is my friend and colleague, George Michaelopoulos, and this is Hegemonix. And we're greeting you here. I wish it were with better news, but it's at least it's exciting news. We've got what seems to be unfolding in Minneapolis is a real clash of civilizations. Um, they seem to be up in Minneapolis, bound and determined not to allow federal law to be enforced, and it's just getting to the point where they had one death from a lady that tried to run over an ICE agent, and now today they've had another death where somebody came at them at the ICE agents with a gun, uh, and a border patrol agent actually was the shooter this time, the one that shot the person who was attacking the attacker. It's unclear from the video, and I haven't tried to capture any video because you can't really tell that much from the videos that I've seen. You have several of the ICE agents around the guy, and he's down on the ground, and you can see maybe what looks like one of these agents pull something out from his around the waist area. Immediately followed by he's got a gun, and then everybody steps back, and one of them starts firing. One of the agents starts firing. So it's really hard to say. The gun might have been taken away right before the firing started, or he might have had another gun, or that might not have been a gun that was taken away. We don't know, but that's the kind of chaos that happens when you
Mhm.
have people being called up to face off with ICE and buy weapons that they don't know anything about and point them at, law enforcement officers. Um, and it's just, it's a shame, but, what are you gonna do? I mean, it's juicing up each side, and, it seems like everybody wants to, make as much hay as they can of it politically. So, what are your thoughts on this, George?
Well, you know, the Democrat Party never seems to learn, does it? This is like Fort Sumter 2.0. It's ironic.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
excuse me. Um, yeah, I have a feeling that because of the Somali corruption, which is humongous and growing, that this may be a part, a strategy, tactic, I should say, on Governor Walz's part to try and get um, a better deal from the federal government because he's looking at prison time. So he can, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if there are back channels in which are with the Justice Department saying, "Look, we'll go easy on you. Just take, take, dial down the temperature." That that is the hopeful, optimistic, cynical view.
yeah,
Um, the more prevalent view is that this is organic, mostly. Soros is behind this. Other NGOs are behind this. But enough of these people have been whipped up into a frenzy that they are going to go out and do something stupid and think that they're the second coming of John Brown, which again is
yeah,
another Civil War illusion right there. So, you know,
yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
they now I just saw something in which Gavin Newsom his star has fallen within Democrat circles, and they're maybe beta testing or A/B testing Jacob Fry as a
Oh, that
possible
makes
um, alternative, a Democrat alternative, because right now they've really got nobody. John Fetterman, yeah, uh, but he's too busy being center. So I don't know. The that anything's possible, but the optics certainly look bad. I mean, these people do hate Trump. They do believe that because they hate Trump, that they could violate laws. And if they kill people or burn down the city, I don't think they give a damn. I hate to be this black pilled, but there you go.
Breaking: Secretary of War Pete Hegseth just posted full support for ICE and federal agents after the Minneapolis shooting. Interesting timing.
Yeah, that is very interesting. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been watching the tape feed, which is what I call X,
Hmm.
and they're all kind of going in the same direction with this. That I can see. I don't know that Waltz has the control over this. There have been people who have been talking about Waltz exiting stage left, taking off to China or someplace
Hmm.
uh, where there's not extradition. Um,
Well, that's interesting. Yeah.
yes.
He speaks
Or
Chinese.
of course it is. Um, but I don't know that it's going to turn the temperature down on the crazies that I've seen
No,
online who were actually pushing this thing. I don't think these people are really. He's concerned about the Somali thing, but a lot of these people,
yeah,
they've been stirred up as the Antifa type um, movement that just it really you can't satisfy 'em,
no,
regardless.
no,
So
not these people. Mm-mm.
yeah, and the one thing that they have been saying is that they have to make this stick in Minnesota because if they don't make it stick in Minnesota, if they don't win against ICE in Minnesota, then it will fall through in the other states that they have this plan to do.
Hmm,
So,
that makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah. So, that tells me um, that this is gonna broaden out. I mean, once it gets really going, it's gonna broaden out because they're not gonna sit on the sidelines in these other states, I don't think, once it really gets going. Um, so that's one thing that we have, cooking. Um, and I had somebody send me, I thought it was you at first, but I don't maybe it wasn't, um, something about the Iran situation with, Iran and Israel and, President Trump. And, I've been thinking about it, and I was out running to get a few things in the cold the other night, and
Hmm.
it dawned on me a dynamic that seems to be, unfolding with Trump and the deep state. Um, with Iran in this last little exchange of bluffs, I guess, they were leading up to some type of a strike against Iran,
Uh-huh.
and they had Iran on high alert. They had everybody in the region on high alert. They had Lindsey Graham on high alert, and then it all fell through at the last minute, and he backed off and he didn't do it. And the reason that some people that I've read speculated that he didn't do it was he actually helped the Iranians in a mole hunt to find the Mossad infiltrators that um, were in the Iranian government structure that had been perturbing their military efforts vis-a-vis Israel.
Oh,
And that's where a lot of those 200 people that they were gonna execute came from.
oh, interesting.
That might be
Interesting.
true, if it is true, and I've seen some stories that more or less confirm that, um, since, I first heard that story. Um, and if that's true, he's found the perfect Achilles heel for the deep state because twice they've done this to him where One was with the Iranians, where he was in negotiations with Iran, and then they struck right at the end of the negotiations, and it the Israelis, I think, did, struck right at the end of it. And then, there was something else recently where he struck, yeah, we were talking about, Ukraine and Russia. He was talking about Russia, and then,
Mhm.
the CIA struck at, Valdai at,
Mhm.
Putin's residence. And they've made this started to make it a habit, the CIA has, of making Trump look bad by striking out in places that he would not approve of, but
Right.
that he be accountable for. So what he seems to be saying with this is, "Well, you're not the only one who can do that." I can say I can call up the intelligence services of enemy countries and say,
Mhm.
"Let's run an operation," you know? And he doesn't seem to be
Yeah.
above it, and everybody's gonna keep it quiet. The Western media has no reason to advertise this.
Mhm.
Neither side of the spectrum does.
You're
And
absolutely
so
right about that.
yeah, yeah,
It's that dog that didn't bark. What am I not hearing? You know?
yeah, yeah. So he may have found the Achilles heel there, with him. Said, "Look, I can give it all away. I" you know, and I thought about that for a while, and I was like, he could have a delegation from the GRU, Russian military intelligence, and just take them right to the Pentagon.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
Or Andrews or, Strategic Air Command or whatever,
Yeah.
and just cause them to spin and chirp and say the Lord's Prayer backwards and whatever else they might do. Uh,
Right. Well, tell you what.
there's always a way, and he's a sneaky fellow, this Trump character.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. My estimation is that he has full control of the State Department, or most control over the State Department. Very good control over the Department of War. Intel, not so much, or I should say, C, not so much. And so they seem to be the guys who are going rogue. And as per this thing on Valdai, but also I think I'm just seeing more. Oh, I don't know. Uh, More indications that Israel is getting weaker, or at least it's losing. It's lost the narrative. So there is that. Trump, I know many in the alt right and the dissident right see him as being a cuck, or uh, you know, a puppet of Netanyahu and the Israeli lobby. And the optics certainly are there for that. But he also has I believe, a long understanding of history. And some things you can do right away, and some things you can't. And you just have to let it play out. And
Yeah,
we've seen that in the past 2 years with Gaza. One time you couldn't say boo about Israel, or about the Zionism, or about the Rothschilds, you know, or undue Jewish influence in America and stuff like that. Now it's talked about all the time. The Overton window has been pushed so far
yeah,
to the right, and and I I say this uh, not because I have any antipathy toward the Jews. I don't, not at all. But they seem the Jewish elite seems to be reacting in a way that is going to be very counterproductive. It is counterproductive, and it's only going to get more counterproductive, especially if you have these hate speech laws that are against anti-Semitism. However, that's defined, which is a very elastic definition anymore. Um, when you have laws like that, you are only going to increase that which you don't want. You know,
Yeah.
um, so I'm going a little bit far afield here, but as far as Iran is concerned, I think the Iranians have played it. They've been incredibly restrained over the past year. When the president was shot and killed, or in that helicopter when their embassy in Syria was destroyed. I mean, these have
That
violated
was
all norms of international relations. You don't do these things, and
I was
they
gonna
did
say,
it.
yeah,
And
yeah.
and they've turned Israel into a
Yeah.
pariah state. So there you go.
Mhm.
I'm just going to leave it there. I mean, anyway.
A Jewish guy dies, and he goes and he comes before God, and he says, "God, is it wrong to genocide Palestinians?" And God says, "Yes, it is." And he says, "Oh man, I had no idea that anti-Semitism was so widespread." That's another one I got off X. Some of them on X I can't
It's
say,
a
but
good one. I'm
yeah,
I'm going to remember that one. That's really good. The one I I like is that the Zionists, the elite, they don't believe in God, but they're sure that He gave them Palestine to rule over. So
yeah,
that's more ironic, droll humor. Anyway,
yeah.
anyway. So
Um, it's a strange phenomenon. The whole Jewish thing. It's a tribe that's from several thousand years ago, and I've written, some on it. We're going to do a show at some point on Christian Zionism, and we'll air
oh yeah,
out,
yeah, we've got to, yeah.
about that, um, because it's plaguing not the church, our church, the Orthodox
Mhm.
Church, but some of the other Christian confessions.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
It's tragic because it could be. It's so unbiblical, unpatristic, unchristian.
It's heretical and it's almost blasphemous. I think it
Yeah,
approaches blasphemy.
yeah. So, moving right along,
Uh-huh.
uh, we have, let's see, we've done the Minnesota thing, done the other. Why not we move on to Davos?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just going from earthquake to earthquake. There's no,
That's okay. That's okay.
yeah,
I mean, see, we
yeah,
can't keep things straight. Yeah.
yeah. And so Trump lands in Davos. Finally, his first flight was returned to the United States
Yeah.
because of what they call electrical problems. We'll
Yeah.
never know the whole story with that, but
No.
um, but anyway, he got there, and he rode him up one side and down the other.
Hmm.
He told him globalism is done. He calls it done, and he got in the faces of some of the people in the audience, and
Uh-huh.
it was beautiful. It really was beautiful.
Yeah. It was a sight to
Um,
behold.
yeah, yeah. And the thing
Well,
about
it reminded me of J.D. Vance's speech last year in Munich, in which he ripped him a new asshole. Pardon my French. And
yeah,
Trump followed up on that, and I'm thinking, yeah, sure, okay, go for it.
yeah, that's what he's saying. This whole system that has been going on now for a long time is just not going to work. It's not working for us, and it's not going to work for you anymore either. And we're just not having any more of it. And they didn't like it. Some of them did actually appreciate it to some extent. Mark Rutte, he he kind of rolled over basically.
Hmm.
Uh, von der Leyen didn't really
Yeah.
want to hear it.
A worthless human being.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then Al Gore was there.
I didn't know
And
that.
yeah, and Al Gore was he booed somebody, one of our people that was over there talking. I forget who it was. Besant, I think. He Besant was talking and Al Gore booed him, which is, it's the dinosaur kind of woolly mammoth from just about going under. Um, but as far as Trump's concerned, this is really as far in my opinion, international stuff has turned out to be his strong suit.
So
I'm not
far, absolutely.
guess
Absolutely.
I would
I
guess
mean,
that
the
6 ago.
the Venezuela thing came out of nowhere. I mean, I didn't expect that. I don't think anybody expected that. How how we pull that off, we'll be debating that for years to come. Whether it was, 22nd century laser weapons and stun guns and stuff like this, or aliens, or just sheer just bribery of the Venezuelan elite. We'll never know, and now Greenland, we just he he pulled that off.
Yeah,
Uh, it's like this is his strong suit. He's saved, he's saved Iran, believe it or not. I think he has saved Iran.
he certainly saved
He did
Israel.
it during the 12-day war, and he did it just last week when you saw Lynn. You know, at this point in my life, I look to see who's screaming, whose head's exploding, and then I realize, okay, is this a good thing or a bad thing? And when I see Lindsey Graham, have a hissy fit, then I'm thinking, okay, this is a good thing.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
whatever he's pissed off about is good.
yeah.
I don't have to think it too much.
Right.
So there's, that's just the way things are for me at this point in my life.
Yeah, so he's a perfect reverse barometer, yeah. Yeah. Um, so, yeah, he saved, Iran. He saved Israel in the 12-day
He
war.
did. He
They were
did.
losing, and it was gonna
Yeah,
go down
they were.
a nasty rabbit hole.
Mhm.
Uh, and, the Greenland, he got the Greenland deal. It seems like he's got that, wrapped up, and where people were talking about the Europeans were actually sending little contingents of troops. Britain's sent
Yeah,
1 soldier over there.
yeah,
Germans sent a few. I mean,
yeah.
just
It's uh, it's ridiculous.
yeah,
It's just ridiculous. And
I would say it's offensive, but it doesn't rise to the level of being offensive. It's just
mhm.
absurd.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
kind of,
absurd.
uh,
Yeah,
you can't take it seriously.
that's right.
Um,
Yeah, that's a good one.
they, they don't I don't know whether it's they can't see themselves, they don't hear themselves, or they just have an internalized wall that won't let shame in, and they just act how their manners tell them to act regardless of what happens on the outside. I mean, I
Hmm.
think it's something like that that goes on because we have that same thing in the South where regardless of if somebody's trying to shame you or everything, shame you or anything like that, you just act, in accordance with your duty and ignore it. And that may be what they're trying to do over there, but it looks very strange. Kaya Kallas and that other one they sent to be the ambassador to the UN. They all seem very stuck up and out of touch over
Yeah,
there.
uh, the I'm going to say something that is going to sound misogynistic, but it's just an observation. And when you look at people like Kaya Kallas and Ursula von der Leyen, and basically any woman who's been educated within the past 30 years at a Western university, this is a person who's never been challenged,
Yeah.
a person who's never been um, told no,
Yeah.
a person who has always had beta orbiters or simps surrounding her. As as far as men are concerned, you know, um, just well to have always agreed, or if they didn't agree, at least didn't challenge. And now that they're in the upper rungs of power, in which you know there are consequences, they they fold with a and or they don't know how to deal with it except to say you're a racist, you're an
Yeah.
Islamophobe, you know.
Yeah.
Um, and it's rather sad if you ask me. I mean, you know, I've been going over the Cold War, and we had our disagreements here in America and the Soviet Union, but yet every one of our presidents, from Truman on, has served in the military. Every, every one of them had, except for Reagan, who was legally blind, had heard shots fired in anger,
Mhm.
and that's why when the Hungarian uprising in '56, Eisenhower did nothing. I mean, what was he going to do? This was a
Right.
moral outrage. Is it is it going to start nuking Russia? No.
Mhm. Yeah.
Even Johnson in '68 with the Prague Spring, and Johnson was a horrible human being. I'm just I can't say enough terrible things about Johnson. But I mean, yes, he had his hands full with Vietnam. It wasn't going well, but when our when the whole world's attention was on Prague, and the brutal way in which the Soviets put it down, again, nothing. You know, a strongly worded letter, maybe. You know, and that's because these were real men who had Johnson kind of didn't serve in the Navy, but you know, they they had a more realistic, one could almost say, feral view of the world.
Yeah.
Okay, and when I look at Kaya Kallas and Ursula von der Leyen, and you name just any other female leader, I don't see that, except for Margaret Thatcher, who's now dead, and Georgia Maloney. Georgia
Yeah.
Maloney has a pair, I think. So other than that, the it's the feminization of our culture and our political elite, which prevent uh, realism from entering into the dialogue. Trump now has, with his national security strategy, we're going back to realism. So that's all I want to say about that. I think I went a little
Yeah.
far
I
afield.
mean, that's the theory that, remember there was a story that went around Madeleine Albright gave, Saddam Hussein the green light to go into Kuwait. I don't know if you ever heard that, or not.
It, it was April Glaspie. She was the
Ah,
ambassador.
okay.
She was the ambassador. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember somebody
To I think who
somebody said
of I think the ambassador to Iraq.
okay.
I
Yeah,
think so.
for some reason that came to mind, that whole thing, that and then later on, we had the possibility at one point of having Angela Merkel, Hillary Rodham Clinton, and Theresa May all
Hmm.
holding office at the same time in the West.
Oh yeah.
Did you ever watch the Flint films? Iron Man Flint and, In Like Flint. It's,
Long,
James
long
C
time ago. Long time
Yeah,
ago.
yeah. One of them was it was a plot for women to take over the world, and,
Hmm.
what happened was a mad genius, uh, messed with the hair dryers, and it was just out there.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
but, yeah, I'm glad that, maybe this project is crashing and burning before too many more million people get killed because, the 20th century was horribly bloody
Oh yeah.
from the Bolshevik Revolution, 2 world wars, um,
Hmm.
abortion, uh,
Oh yeah.
humanity over its entire existence, in wars has killed like 1 billion people. Abortion in since over the last century has killed like 1.3 billion, you know?
Probably.
It's yeah,
Very probably. Yeah.
it it's just the I mean, I wonder whether that's not the abomination of desolation right there. Desolation
Well, you
fits
gotta wonder.
yeah.
You gotta wonder. I mean, I just don't think, I just don't know how people can, who have a, at least a Christian understanding of the world, or even just somewhat of a moral understanding of the world, a humane, can say, well, this is this is going to be without consequence. Now, now I know everybody will say, well, how about if her life's in danger, or she was raped, or stuff like that? All the caveats, the baby's retarded. Okay, the reason the pro-choice or the pro-abortion side puts those caveats in there is to muddy the waters, to try and deflect from the absolute evil that it is. Otherwise, just as a rule, I mean, just looking at it, the the murder of an innocent child in the womb can never really be justified. It just, see, I even use the word really, cannot be justified. Okay,
Yeah, it's a tiny,
anymore
tiny
than,
fraction have those
yeah.
those things.
Okay.
It should never be done, like, for rape or incest or anything like that. The other ones, the most you'll get out of me ever on any of these is, uh, the most horrendous thing that you can think of with the baby, leave it to the mother, and I'll be very inclined, to have her be absolved, after it's over with. If it's a if the baby's got no brain, that kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that type of thing.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
and if the but
Yeah.
most of the time, that kind of thing, that
That's
doesn't even qualify as an abortion really because there's no there, that's, so,
basically a red herring.
yeah, yeah. So, well, let's, spin the wheel again and see what we're,
Hmm.
you know, the funny thing is, the one place that we don't talk about very much, um, but seems to benefit from everything that happens everywhere is China. Uh, I wonder why that is. They're very bright and, they just don't, involve themselves in, involve themselves in any of these conflicts directly. They just sit back and make deals such that their friends are gonna run interference for anybody
Yeah.
who is gonna get in their
Yeah.
way. 'Cause they have the Belt and Road Initiative, which on my program, I went into some detail about how that works. And, they've got both Iran and Russia running interference for them supposed to go up through the Middle East and then into Europe. And so, I'm trying to think of some other what what news items have stood out to you, in the past week or 2?
My mind is bewildered. It was, I don't know if we talked about the Fanar, our friends at the Fanar. Um,
Yeah.
uh, how on January 1st, which is Saint Basil's Day, as well as the circumcision of Christ. Uh, in the Greek speaking world, we have what called a basilopita, or a basil cake.
Mhm.
And what it's named after Saint Basil, because in the Greek tradition, Saint Basil is the gift giver, and November and January 1 is when the gifts are given. Um, but well, at least he used to be that way. And anyway, within each Vaslavata, there's usually a coin somewhere, and then the patriarch of the family will cut it, will make a crossover 3 times, and just start cutting slices out and giving it. There's one for mom, one for Junior, one for Missy, one for Papu, and whoever has the piece that gets the coin in it has good luck for the year. It's just a pious tradition, doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, I've
Um,
seen it.
yeah, and anyway, at at the Fanar, they had that ceremony, and first they had a small little litany, probably a Poseidon service. The lights went out, the power went out, and then it flickered, and then they came back on. And then when it was time to cut the Vasilopita, the patriarch took a knife and it broke. And so that was kind of embarrassing. And so they gave him another knife, and this one bent as it was cutting the bread.
Mm,
And he said under his breath, "Kakoidioma," or something along those lines, which means a ill omen, a bad omen, which shows that, to my mind at least, he does believe in God, and he does fear God, because otherwise he'd say this is all a joke and I'm just riding high. And you know, I'm in charge of the church. I'm the Pope of the East because Mike Pompeo and I are good friends. In other words, just be totally cynical about that. And as far as all those hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians who are dying in Ukraine because I listened to the globalists and set up this criminal church there, who cares? You know. But I don't believe that that's the case now, because of the way he said it. It was like, okay, I screwed up. That's my take on it. Could be
I
wrong.
hope
I'm not there. I'm not him. But
so. I've heard,
yeah.
some reports that he was trying to backtrack more or less um, from his actions in Ukraine with the OCU and all that.
Mhm.
Uh, I should
Well,
mention,
he should, and he should repent and retire to Mount Athos and become a monk and pray for the rest of his life in repentance. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But
yeah,
you know,
I should mention that, the SVR, I don't wanna hit this too hard, but the SVR um, in its letter, in its, press release, said some really harsh things about, Patriarch Bartholomew, about
hmm
being Antichrist in a cassock and some other
hmm
things, for his, activities with Ukraine, and also with, the possibility of starting a church in Montenegro in order to spite the Serbians.
hmm
Um, and it's a very strange thing because it's not the Moscow Patriarchate. It's more like the Russian government is saying this,
hmm
and the equivalent of the Russian CIA saying this. And so I hope he got the message. We'll leave it
hmm
at that. I pray for
yeah,
him, and I hope he got the message.
yeah. That, well, just as we do, Trump negotiated with Maduro. He talked with him. Said they'll give us this, blah blah blah. Same thing with Noriega back 30 years ago, 35 years ago. Same with Allende back in '72, if memory serves. Before we take somebody out, we we put the finger on them, you
Mhm.
know. And this is called La Boccia della Morte, the kiss of death. I think I said that correctly. And this is probably what the SVR did with Bartholomew. They said, "We're coming after you. You know, you know, it won't be bloody, but it's time. It's time to get right with God."
Yeah, but it's entirely possible. I mean, I can't think of any other reason why the Russian CIA would say that in
Yeah,
public, but in front of
in
God and
public.
everybody.
Yeah, yeah. I can't either. Well, you know more about that than I do, but well, let's not forget back in 2014, I think it was in Munich, or was it 2008 in Munich? Putin laid out what Russia's security strategy is: the near abroad, the far abroad. So do not push east, do not take Ukraine. He didn't just attack out of nowhere February of 2022. Was it the 22nd of February? I mean, he just didn't get up one day and had a wild hair up his butt and say, "Oh, well, I'm going to go bomb the crap out of Ukraine." He warned us. He warned NATO, for years. Don't do that. So his conscience is clear in this regard, and I think that's how we do things as well. I mean, I can't say that I approve of like the assassination, like for instance, of President Diem and his brother back in Vietnam, back in '63. Curiously enough, just 3 weeks before Kennedy was killed. But I guess that's the way the great powers act. They first say something, and then you know you can kind of make your arrangements, whatever necessary arrangements are need to happen. I don't know. So
I think it probably has a lot to do with the case, the particular case, but I see your point. Uh, so
let's end this on Minnesota. Because, I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
obviously Trump has to do something. He has to, and it's going to get worse before it gets better. And it maybe it's going to get worse before it gets worse. But if he doesn't invoke the Insurrection Act, if he doesn't take Frey into handcuffs and clap him in irons, and same thing with Waltz, then it's Katie bar the door, the way I
Well,
see
these
it.
nasty little people are biting the fingers off of these agents, and that's just
Yeah,
these people are animals, and he needs to go ahead and not sacrifice his people and just send people in to crack heads. That's what the military's for. So,
that's right. That's right. Well,
yeah,
back in February of last year, when Los Angeles was in full riot, he sent the Marines in, and since then it's been quiet. You know, he sent the National Guard into Washington D.C., and the crime went down. You know,
yeah,
so I mean,
that's what
if
he's gonna have.
I mean, if the people of Minnesota want to burn down their city, I feel sorry for the innocent people of Minnesota, but at the same time, you voted for these people.
Yeah, it's
You
true.
voted for this. I don't know. Don't know what to say.
Well, we can let it go with that, I suppose.
I think so.
If you like what you saw and heard here, please hit like and subscribe, and we will see you next time on Hegemonix.
Ciao.